Yeah, what's going on,
Yeah,
brother?
just getting these sun, catching these codes, brother. That's it, right now.
You you out there catching them rays, man. The light is on you.
You likewise. I can see the light hitting you as well.
We got a little sun right now. Yeah, we got some sun out here in Texas. I'm in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't be hot out there.
Oh, it'd be hot out here.
Yeah,
It'd be hot. It'd be hot out
even
here,
winter,
man.
even winter.
Uh, Sometimes it can get cold. It can get cold, but relatively so. Relatively so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah, near DC.
Okay, okay. True that. True that. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for doing this, brother. Yo, what do your friends usually call you? What does family
It's
call you?
either sky or ski.
Sky?
Sky or ski. Yeah.
Okay, Sky. Where did Sky come from? Was it always Sky? Like you were named Sky
No,
as a
no,
child?
it was not. It was
Okay,
not.
you changed it to Sky. When did that change come through?
When I started incorporating like breath work in my daily life, and I just started realizing like, dang, the sky, like the air, everything. I just wanted to connect with it more. So, and then I came up with Divine Sky. And
Okay,
then
okay. So you
33, I've been using 33 for as long as I can remember. Like when I was younger, I used to use that for like social media. I used to use my regular name
Mhm.
and then 33, but I didn't have no spiritual awareness of it. And then now I'm like, oh, what? That's why I like using that number.
Mhm. Yeah, I said 33, I feel free, you know. 33 building chi. 33. It's on me. So, Sky,
Ah,
so ever since you said you was it that you had an awakening or you started incorporating different things that you changed your name over to Sky? You said it's Sky now.
yeah, I mean, like I would say like it was a change in me. Like once I stopped eating meat and stuff, I felt the energetic shift in my brain. And
Mhm.
like after that, I just no longer wanted to just go by. Like I still go by my name when some people call me my name, but like usually like when they know me from social media or something, that's I used to have my name as my regular name, Kajon. And I noticed that like I wanted to incorporate the divine sky, and like I seen the divineness in the sky. Like that's how I really got it, tapped into it. And after that, I just kept using it, and
Okay.
that's how it stuck with me.
So so it was Kjon.
Yeah, it was Kajon.
Kjon. Okay, and you don't like
No,
Kjon anymore?
I don't mind it.
Mhm.
It just people just call me Sky now. That just like people have been calling me Sky or something with Sky or Ski or something in it now. I just been rolling with it.
Yeah, because I remember, my middle name is Daniel, and I don't go by Daniel on here. People know me by Jerome. That's my first name.
Yeah,
I'm Jerome Jr. from my father. So family calls me Daniel, and my friends call me Jerome. But I remember there were times where I didn't put Jerome on my, like back in the day when I was getting jobs, when I was working regular
yeah.
jobs, I wouldn't put Jerome on my, what do you call that?
Application.
Yeah, my application.
Yeah.
It's been so long. So I wouldn't even put Jerome on my application because a lot of the times they wouldn't even call me back, you
They
know?
wouldn't
But
call you
when I
back.
but when I put Daniel
You
on my
got to call back.
application, I would they would call me back, you know?
Interesting.
It was funny
I,
that way.
mm, I always had a unique name. I mean, my last name is pretty unique too. I got like Warfield is my last name, and
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, why Warfield? And then it got me thinking about it now. Like, I felt like I had some warrior monk energy from once I had some awareness about
Mhm.
myself. I was like, oh, it makes sense now.
Kjon
Yeah,
Warfield. Strong, strong,
yeah. Strong with cheek.
awesome. Well, brother, when you talked about your relationship with sky, the sky energy, it reminds me because we hear about Mother Earth and then we hear about Father Sky. So when do you feel like you developed a reverence for nature, or did you always have that relationship with nature that way?
I would say I I mean, as a kid, I always would say like when we had like show and tell and stuff, it would be a joke to me. But I would say I collect rocks. I would just be fun. I would try to be funny. But
Mhm.
now I really use collect crystals and stuff like that. So I would say it always been around, but like I didn't really put that much awareness into it. And then just in life, I would say like once I started learning have that natural high, that natural blissness off my breath,
Mm-hmm.
that's when everything started to fall in place. I started seeing like, dang, like the grass looks like a carpet to me now. Like like it just started to be like, wow, it's so divine.
Yeah, yeah. You said it's like a carpet. You said like I can lay down on this.
Yeah,
You know, I can.
like
Mm-hmm.
um like I remember one of the times I first started doing breath work and I opened my eyes, I seen purple everywhere, and then I looked at the ground, and then don't you ever see them like tech Indian textile type of carpets?
Mm-hmm.
That's how the ground looked to me, and I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. Like I think this is how I'm supposed to be looking at this type of like life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know that those blissful, breathful experiences, that are like so breath giving. When you're talking about doing breath work and then opening your eyes and seeing purple, somebody might say on the outside looking in, like, "Oh, was he having a psychedelic experience?" But you're getting high on your natural supply, you know?
And I have realized that we are the psychedelic, because in I was just learning from just a lot of different places, learning the same thing, because there's many paths to the same place, source, that source energy. So I'm like, oh, the Taoists, they definitely acknowledge that, okay, you're definitely feeling something when you're in that dark room for a while and you start seeing stuff. That's something's happening in your body. And a lot of other people would say it's these chemicals, melatonin, serotonin, and tryptamine. These are natural, dopamine. All these things are natural highs that we can get by doing certain things in life.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I agree, brother. So with these components and these chemicals, these things that you're talking about, did you have to like start to do research? Did it lead you on a path to self-discovery, but then also kind of your own self-education in a way, like learning about these
Yeah,
things?
because I was learning about plant medicine as well, and I was already using marijuana and stuff like prior, like really heavily, and then it really made me like respect it more, because I'm like, oh man, like I wasn't really having a good relationship with it, like just like even food, like again, like we weren't, like a lot of people don't have good relationship with the food and stuff like that, and it just opened my eyes up to be like, wow, let's start building a better relationship with this stuff. And then it started opening me up to the natural high that we have within, because I learned about how we have an endoid cannabinoid system, and we have like basically cannabis inside of our body, and that we can feel good and have them feel good chemicals come from within. So I'm like, wow, so we don't even have to use these substances and use these type of things, because it's already inside of us. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I started learning more and more, and just had more awakenings, and then started having like transcendental experiences. And it started just connecting the dots for me.
Yeah, yeah. That really lends credence to these wise sayings that we hear all the time. They're commonly heard, almost like cliche when people say, "Oh, it's all inside. The answer is all within you." All that you need is within you now. We've heard them so many times
Yeah.
that it seems so repetitive. People, they almost roll their eyes when they hear
Yeah.
stuff like that. But do we truly believe that? Do we truly receive that? So,
I mean, like, like I'm realizing now that like everything outside is also inside. Like, since our brain is like something that it's like it's something that like I'm thinking about it, how I'm about to say this. Like, oh, our thoughts, right? Our thoughts are not like things that you can have endless type of thoughts and you not get like swollen head and like, oh, my head hurts. I got too many thoughts, like a muscle or something. Like, it's always can grow. It always can grow, and I'm just like, okay. And there has to be some truth to this. Like, since thoughts are like everything's a part of consciousness in that source, even the thoughts that we have is coming from that source. So something's occurring somewhere else, like when we have dreams and all that type of thing. Like, that could be happening in another reality, because like consciousness is forever expanding, a limitless thing. Oh, helicopters. That's interesting.
yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening. Yeah. So
Can
go ahead.
you hear me? Can you hear me? This is two big military helicopters that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, the energy is high, man. Since you putting out a lot of energy down here, so they putting up a lot of energy up there. It's
Yeah, as
it's
above,
like
so below.
the law of correspondence. As above, so below.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, so Kashan, Kashan, when you talked about the transcendental experiences you said that you started to have, what was one of the most significant ones that you will always remember? You know, one of the ones that really just opened you up, really opened your eyes to a new way of being, you know?
There's a couple now,
Mhm.
but one of the most recent ones is when I've been just developing this. I really wasn't really worried about psychic abilities too much. Like I wasn't trying to like, I was trying to like just like astral project and stuff like that, but it wasn't as like it was that was coming in divine timing. I had figured that out, but just me just doing my daily spiritual practices and stuff. I had a vision when I was driving about a car crash, and then I seen the car crash happen, and I was like, oh my god, this I was like, this stuff is real.
What?
Like I can't never doubt myself. I can't doubt myself. Like I can't do it. Cause I seen it. I'm like, oh my, I seen the car crash before it happened. And I see the cars crashing to each other. They told me something told me to stop the car. I stopped the car, intuition, and I seen the other cars crashing to each other. And I'm like, wow, I don't think my spirit, my higher self wanted me to experience that. So I'm like, wow, this is something amazing.
Whoa. Okay, let's back up just for a second. That's amazing right there. So when you talk about a premonition or like that inner vision, you've seen the movie, I don't know, Kajan, it's a movie called Final Destination. You ever seen this movie?
I think I played that game when I was younger or something like.
Final Destination. There was
I
this,
think I think I seen something. I remember. I'm remembering a little bit. Like they were like running on like a bridge or something. I'm remembering that part right now in my brain. I think
yeah,
something. They had multiple movies of that, like one,
they
two, and
had
three.
multiple,
Yeah,
a
yeah. I
whole
think I
series.
seen
It
I
was
think
like
one of them
a whole
somewhere.
series of Final Destinations, but in each of them, there was always usually like one person or other that would have a vision or a premonition of an event that was going to occur in the future.
Yeah,
And then they would see it was like a cataclysmic, just a whole catastrophe. It was destruction,
yeah,
death and destruction. And they were able to see it happen. And
and
then
avoid it.
they could either prevent it from happening by doing something different or slowing down, right? Or
Yeah.
just getting out of the way or warning somebody. They would try to prevent the situation from happening. So how do you feel like this allowed you to have that? Like, what do you feel awakened within you?
I would say just cultivating self love on a daily basis, like starting to project that into my everyday. Like we're interacting with the gases in our environment every day. So how are you going to interact with them? Are you going to interact with them in a source of love, like in a way of love, or are you going to interact with them in a way of anger? Like when you wake up, we can program our day to like, oh, I want to experience this, so I mean, this is what I do personally. I might like I remember when I was having the visions like that, I was saying like I wanted to experience love and harmony or something like that. I would just continually say that, and then I'm seeing the harmony in it because I know I wasn't supposed to go through that car crash,
Mm,
and then seeing it happen, I'm like, wow, I seen that in my head before it happened.
right, right. So when people say things like, the universe has your back, or my spirit guides, or my ancestors, or my intuition, or,
Yeah,
what do you feel like that was for you? What did you feel like was protecting you?
I mean, I would say now since like I became having some awareness, I would say I have my own back. And then once you have your own back, the universe's forces will also have your back. Like now you're supported by the universal forces because you supported yourself.
Ooh, okay, I love that. Okay, so you're supporting yourself. Now you're being supported.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that feeling of support for yourself, were there times in your life that you didn't feel supported, or
Oh.
that you felt you might be your worst enemy in a way?
Oh yeah. I would say like I was definitely on a path of self sabotage for a while, and like I was in the streets at one point in time. If you would say like I was doing a lot of things that I was like, dang, like I was not loving myself. I didn't have these type of awarenesses. Like I didn't realize I was just doing a lot of self hatred things,
Hmm.
and I didn't really realize it. And like yeah, and then I had once I really started like for me once I really dropped the meat, it was the energetic shift, and then after that I just kept going up. I wanted to learn, expand my mind more, Like I really felt when I really dropped the meat, like I no longer was angry. Like I didn't want to do certain activities no more. And it was just amazing how like that was one of the big shifts for me. Like what I put it into my body.
Mm.
And yeah, I remember it was a very much self-sabotaging. I didn't feel supported.
Wow.
I didn't
Wow.
support myself personally. I was doing self-sabotaging activities.
So what was one of those self-sabotaging activities that you say was a result of that, or that before you dropped, eating animals, that level of consumption was like a domino effect for you?
Um, I would say, all right, because like I remember I was definitely doing like street activity. So, if you repeat the question one more time, please.
Yeah. What was one of the self-hating? You said there were self-hatred activities, like some people say self-sabotage. You said there was like almost a self-hatred, you know,
Oh, okay.
like you were
Um,
doing activities that really felt like you weren't really supporting yourself. Yeah.
I was definitely. I remember when I was robbing people, I wasn't feeling abundant, so I was taking from somebody else,
Hmm.
and that was a real thing. And I'm like, wow, like thinking about it now, I'm like, wow, like I didn't feel abundant. I didn't. I was kind of hating myself because why? I can see everybody else as a reflection of me now.
Hmm.
Like I can see that you got a soul just like me, and that's how we always are connected. And it was a hatred for myself in a way that I would go steal from somebody else or to go do something as such,
Hmm.
or hurting people, just fighting and stuff like that for unnecessary reasons.
Okay. Okay. So it reminds me, you put up a post and the post said, hurt people, and then
Yeah,
it also said, healed people, heal people. So what do you felt was like hurt within that caused you to bring about hurt without on the out?
I would say, um, I would say it would be a lot of the programming and stuff in my environment. I let it change me.
Mhm.
Like I really let my environment change me, and I just know like I'm a very adaptable person. So I was in an environment that I know that wasn't good for me. Like I acknowledged that, oh, this is not good for me, but I'll continue to involve myself in that environment. And then I realized like my inner environment was also poor. Once I realized my inner environment was poor, that's when I started doing the work inside, and I started seeing my environment on the outside change. Certain things didn't want to be around me now. I didn't want to be around it, and I just seen it for myself. Like my own inner environment was messed up. I had the feelings of not feeling abundant, so I wanted to steal from others. I had the feeling of wanting to fight myself, and I was fighting others. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It, I'm just thinking about it now, and just yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it really was. To be honest,
There's a lot of these realizations that we come when we reflect, we see where all these lines and all these dots started to connect when we reflect.
yeah,
So, much respect, thank you for sharing this because somebody needs to hear
yeah.
this. There's a
I know
lot.
there's other people that grew up similar way to I did, and they probably could be going through it right now. So like I
Exactly.
did a lot of things that I was like, wow, like I was not living in a place of self-love. I wasn't, because if I was, I probably wouldn't have been doing that.
Right. Right. And thankfully it seems like you developed at least you sprouted the self-awareness to be able to see that when you were taking, it was taking from you, you
Yeah,
know.
it really was. Like, and then realizing like now I'm like, wow, like when you do that type of stuff to people, it affects them also because they could be going through something, and then now that I could be almost known for doing that activity, I'm like, oh shoot, like I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known for uplifting people, having people love themselves. And then I'm like, wow, I definitely had to do a lot of apologizing internally and externally.
Wow. Wow. So there was a lot of was there forgiveness there?
Yeah, I definitely had to forgive myself because I know if anything, or I would say the universal forces were definitely coming back on myself. And I just realized I had a lot of blockages. Like when I say the blockages hurt, like it was internal pain that I had to go through to get to where I'm at now. Like I had to go through in pain internally that probably caused onto others.
Mm.
I know I caused onto others. So I had to go through that in pain internally. And I definitely wept many times meditating.
Mm.
I wept many times. Yeah, definitely let the energy out many of times. And I'm seeing it now, like it was something I definitely had to go through. Like it made me who I am today.
Okay.
So I had these experiences. I can't say that weren't necessarily wrong, but it definitely showed me that they were needed,
Okay.
so I can have the awareness that I have now.
Okay. So it's like you have gratitude now. You have
Yeah, I
gratitude.
do.
It's almost like you're saying, Kishan, that not only did you have to go through it, but you had to grow through it. You know.
Yeah, I really did. I had to grow through it. I had to
Okay.
grow through it.
Yeah. Because I saw you. I saw you put up a like
Oh,
a heart meditation.
oh,
It
my
was.
bad. There's a street sweeper coming. I didn't hear you. There was like a street sweeper, and all right, are we good? We good? We good now? All right. But,
Saw you put up different meditations on your page. Like you have like a heart meditation where you're focusing on the heart center, and just different forms where you're just allowing these energy centers to clear. And then, it sounds like you saw a lot of these things disappear when you let go of that fear, you let go of that tension through tears, through emotion, through release, you
yes.
know, that you had to have a lot of energetic release for these things to.
You have to in order to heal it, you have to feel it,
Mm.
you know. Because like that's what I really realized. Like I had to really go into that pain and to be like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
where is this coming from? And then I started realizing like, oh, you didn't love this part of yourself, and you didn't love that part of yourself that was outside of you. So this is the pain that blocked up, the mucus that built upon itself
Mhm.
in your body. And it really gave me a lot of self-love. Me just going in my temple and mopping out, cleaning the temple internally,
Mhm.
doing my chores internally, doing my internal chores and stuff. And it really gave me some self-love. And then I don't ever want to go back.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, brother. I like how you said that it's like doing your internal chores so you can feel even more. You mopping up
Bro,
on
I love
the
your rise, fam.
you mopping up the inside.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when you were talking about the dynamic and the relationship between taking and then being taken from, the receiving the energy that you're projecting, that your energy is the energy you're projecting is also reflecting. So when you said that, you saw the connection, it reminded me you put up something on your story recently, Kajan, where it was like one of the great universal truths is that there's only one of us here. You remember that?
Yeah. I literally felt called to post that when I was like, yeah, I should post it.
Yeah. Can you talk about what did that speak to you when the guy was talking about there's only one of us here?
All right, so like it came to me, I'm like, okay, since we're all a soul, right? We're all soul experiencing the self, and like we really can't see through the eyes of others, but when we see through the eyes of like really go internally, start being in that soul, living on a soul level, I would say, then you can start being like, oh, I know they could be coming from a place of this and that, and I experienced something like that before as well, and you can see the similarities within you. Like you're simultaneously one and different in a way, but we're really still all one. So I can see now that okay, that when I see certain things, right, that could be another version of myself or another version of me within somebody else. That could be like when I don't like something, right? If I don't like something with somebody else, I'm like, oh, that could be something I do internally that I'm not acknowledging. Like that's why I don't like it about somebody else doing it because I could be doing something very similar. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. So like the same but different. Does this kind of relate to what you said when you were saying that not that we're wired differently, but you said that we're damaged
Yeah, yeah. We're not wired differently. I think we're damaged differently because we all come here as a baby, right? and a baby is still a pretty faultless being. Like nothing really happens unless somebody or something did something to the baby, right? There could be like premarital, like baby problems and stuff like that, but like usually it's a clean slate. We arrive with no name, so we have no energy imprinted on us. So, and then thinking about it, let me find a way to find the words. Yeah, it's like a blank slate, and like, yeah, you might have to say that question again.
It made sense to me when I read it, you know, because it was almost like, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
a tabula rasa
damage
blank
differently.
slate. When you said damage differently, it made me feel, at least, that okay, we come in blank, we come in just with nothing, but then we also have our different traumas, different upbringings, different backgrounds, different situations and scenarios that have affected us.
Yeah,
Then also different programming, different teaching, different things that we have to unlearn, you know, to deprogram, to reprogram. So it's like that damage that has taken place on different levels, that trauma that has taken place on different levels has to be dealt with differently
yeah.
because we're all different.
So like that's why I realized everybody's journey is like literally individualized for you. Like whatever, like you could have some good advice, but if it doesn't resonate with me, I can't use it. It's not going to be as effective for me, if that
Right.
makes sense. Like I know certain people, like I've learned about different type of breatharians and stuff, and it just be like, wow, like it broke my brain a little bit more. I'm just like, wow, open my brain up. So like I seen a breatharian that turned a breatharian from eating McDonald's, and that completely blew my brain. I'm like, how does that even occur? But that was for him. He used a certain mantra and certain things, and he alchemicalized it. Now he didn't have to eat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He would go on eating one meal at McDonald's a day, and then he eventually got off McDonald's entirely, breatharian. So I'm like, wow. So it's like everybody's journey is individualized for them. So we are all wired the same because we're a human being in this human body right now. But we all do go through different experiences. Therefore, there's different damages and things that we have to go through differently. But we are wired the same in a way. We have a heart, we have a mind, we have lungs to breathe, or we have something to breathe. Like we might not have each and every organ that everybody else has, but we have the innate ability to connect with our soul in essence. And that's what I would say. We're all wired the same, but we are differently in how we get to that.
Right, right. I agree, you know, and that's one of the things I enjoyed about when I was perusing your page because you almost have like a disclaimer, brother. You have like a warning label. It's like beware. This will give you knowledge on the mind, body, and soul, right? It's
Yeah,
the mind, body, and soul connection. Like be warned,
yeah.
you know? So I like how you bring it all together. That's holistic. That's holistic. Yeah.
And when I first used that, and I was like, yeah, I wanted to do something to have people beware. Like, I want you to actually think about it. Like, do you want to learn about your body, mind, and soul? If you don't, this is not the page for you. You're gonna see it right then and there.
Mm.
So if you do still follow me after seeing that, you inherently you wanted to learn about your mind, body, and soul. You acknowledge that you did want to learn about it.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I
So
had to get
spread.
my phone out the sun because I know when my phone get
Yeah.
in the sun too long, it'll just shut
Oh
down.
yeah. The sun will take it out real quick.
Yeah,
Real
it
quick.
can't handle it, the energies like we can.
Yeah, this technology is different from this technology, you know. The body is
The inner
its own
vehicle.
is
The
definitely
inner vehicle.
technology, man. So when you were talking, Kajan, about uh, you know, being damaged differently, there was something else that you said as well in that post, and you were talking about people who come to a different lifestyle or a different style of living,
Yeah.
and they approach being plant-based, they try to let go of animals, and they feel weak. You said there's a weakness that they feel,
Yeah.
and you were trying to explain that weakness that some people feel when they make a switch or they make a shift. Yeah.
I mean, I went cold turkey personally when I like first learned about it. Like, I didn't like weigh myself off meat. Like, as soon as I learned about knowledge about it, I just cut it off entirely. And there was a period of time where I definitely felt the toxins and stuff that's come from years of eating Doritos, Cheetos, all those junk foods. And it came from years of eating that I didn't realize that I was putting a whole bunch of chemicals into my body that had to find their way out. And it's not always love and like dandelions and daisies when that stuff is leaving. Like when you're purging internally, I know when I went on one of my first parasite cleanses, my God, like on a fast, I never really felt a parasite come out of me. And then I looked and I'm like, wow, that's a parasite that was inside of me that was trying to control me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and like everybody is wired differently. I mean, not wired differently. Everybody's damaged differently in a way. So like everybody can have a different amount of different toxins in their body that their body has to find a way to get out. And one of the biggest parasite detoxers I realize is the breath.
Right. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you witness this, brother, you know, Kajan, when you saw this parasite, or
Oof.
even when people see things like mucoid plaque and parasite, you know, when they see that in other people's body, it's almost like a cognitive dissonance. They can disassociate from it because it's like, oh,
That's
that's in
not
their
me.
body. Right, right. Like that's not in my body. That could never be in my body. That's only
And then
so, go ahead. Go ahead.
when I seen it come out of myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't like it, and I felt like, remember I was telling you about when I did go like I did transition to a vegan or just fruits and, you feel me, a healthier lifestyle. I felt the energetic shift in my brain, but also I didn't feel the energetic shift in my stomach yet, and that's also another brain. So I felt the energetic shift up here, but down in my stomach, in my bowels, I didn't feel the energetic shift yet. So it had to be a little while until I kept using and integrating this knowledge. The parasites come out, and I feel even more lighterness come up. I'm like, wow, these parasites left my body. I feel like they were taking my energy, like an energy vampire internally.
Right.
We allowed them inside. We gave them an anchor, a way that they can communicate with us, which was the food, and that was their anchor to be inside of our body. Like, yeah, their anchor to get inside of us in a way.
Right. Because I
Like,
remember there was something else you put up. You talked about how vampires crave blood and zombies crave flesh, or something like that. And you know, when you said that you came into this knowledge and you just completely went cold turkey, like you
yeah,
said, you just completely left it go. For me, that was a documentary called Earthlings. And when I saw this documentary, and they just listed all the things that we use animals for, right? They just listed it all and they laid it all out for you. I was like, I can never go back. But
yeah.
what was it for you? What was the thing that was like the crossroads or the defining moment for you to say, okay, not again?
It was experience, just me experiencing it. Like, I understand people that say that they went on a plant-based lifestyle and stuff, but I went on a holistic lifestyle. So once I was eating vegetables and eating fruits and stuff, I was like, okay, like I definitely feel like things are changing internally, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't sustaining myself as much. Once I incorporated breath work inside of that, started doing a bigger spiritual practice, like I wouldn't say bigger, but another spiritual practice. That's when I felt like, oh, like I can't go back. Like I don't have to go back. Like I've seen people that stop eating meat and come back to eating meat because why? They never really integrated some other type of energies into their body, which their
Mm,
body definitely needs. Their body craves it. We always are eating air
yeah.
every day,
So
consuming.
it's almost like going back to an old lover or an old ex. Like you
Yeah.
you were in a relationship and now you left that relationship, but then since you didn't develop another relationship, you go back to the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And then I wanted to develop a relationship internally with myself,
Okay.
and I know connecting with myself is connecting with everything else. If I love myself, I must like really love myself. I start really loving everything else, and I started like I remember just going through it, just doing it. I'm like, wow. Like I remember like people just talking about racial and stuff like that. Now I can't even see that stuff no more. I just see everybody as a being just like me. I can't see the race, or I can't see it. I just see soul
Right.
and everything, like even walls, bricks. Windows, I can't really see any other way now. I'm like, oh, this is all part of the consciousness. It's part of me. It's also inside me.
Wow.
I can think of it. Therefore, that's a thought. That's energy. That's something.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that perspective. Like that they say that's what we need in the collective is that kind of perspective where there's no separation, you
Yeah.
know? That's that's divine information when there's no separation. You know, it's like a constant collaboration or a constant co-creation with it all.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, every
co-creation.
yeah.
Exactly. That's what I realized. Like we're all co-creator
Right,
beings in a
right.
way. And for co-creator beings, that means we all have the innate ability to create something,
Hmm.
bring something out from that emptiness, just like we came.
Right.
And the emptiness is all around us. The emptiness is inside the atoms.
Hmm.
It's in everything. And I just started seeing like, wow, I can see the soul in everything, and I can see the soul in nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you put that message up as well. You said all is atom or all is atom.
As a,
What was that?
all is a tum.
Atom.
I was learning that from like the Emerald tablets in her like Hermetica,
Okay.
and I was learning like they were just talking about how like the atom,
Mm.
like how everything is connected because atoms and stuff like that. And I just started to be like, wow, I had an epiphany, like, oh, I'm touching the chair right now. This chair is just like me. We have atoms. We are built out of atoms, so we are one and the same. The grass, I can start seeing it, and I really can't unsee it in a way. So like me contemplating a tongue, like, oh, how everything is connected to each other. I just kept contemplating that, and I just started seeing it more and more and more, and I just really can't see anything else that's not a part of a tongue. Even the things that you consider negative, it's still part of the atom. Doesn't mean we
Okay.
have
So both,
to doesn't mean we have to resonate with them, but it's still part of that same source right now. Like I don't have to interact with them, but I know you're still part of that thing that I'm a part of. We
yeah.
connected.
Yeah. So you connect it, you don't reject it. Like you can it's it's you can respect it. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin, and it's the same coin.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, you know. And we have a question real quick before we keep going. Matt Hagen, he was asking, could you go into some details of your breath work?
um, I say I use breath work to do internal cleaning. So the way I usually teach people is I do alkaline breathing, which is in through your nose, out through your mouth. But eventually, you should be working on your way to using just your nose. To be honest, I feel like in the longer run, because like I feel like at one point in time we weren't really using our mouths too much, only for like eating and stuff. Like we probably use our mouth just for speaking and vibrations and stuff like that, but majority we probably using our nose. Like this is one of the organs that doesn't have another function besides breathing.
True. So that would be the breath work is mainly
Yeah,
nasal breath.
but I
Okay.
do teach one at the beginning so you can get used to just um letting out gases and stuff using your mouth on them exhales.
Yeah.
Cause that's the usually way that we've been doing it. Like I mean, that's how I grew up doing it. Like I was definitely breathing through my mouth when I was doing sports and stuff like that. But I've noticed like your nose is definitely designed like in a way to cool down the air or like give you a little bit of something because we have nasal hairs. You're getting
Hmm.
information from the oxygen and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say information on the breath work is listen to your body. Um, I do breath holds as well. We hold the breath for a little bit and hold our emptiness, like exhaling, no air, and
Mm.
also on being able to hold, inhale and hold. And it definitely starts off small. Like you might not be able to hold your breath for 10 seconds, but I definitely say when you build upon it, now I can hold my breath for up to a minute, 2 minutes,
Right.
just for me building upon circulating that energy because we always are circulating chi. Is how efficiently are you circulating that chi, and the breath work really helps you scrub out them knots and stuff internally so you can circulate that chi better and have a better flow with yourself and with your breath.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have said it better, bro, because seriously, you know, there's every day I'm learning new things about the breath, you know, new things that just following the breath wherever it leads you, you know, following the breath. where it precedes you, you know? So it's like I'm learning as well. I remember hearing about Tumo monks, you know, in these caves or in these mountains or these places around the world that were like negative below degrees,
Mhm.
you know, like really cold, freezing places, and they would throw sheets of like blankets
Water,
of moisture, yeah, like
moist
water,
blankets.
and
Yep.
they could heat themselves up with their breath,
Oh
right?
my God. And then I experienced that because I do my routine every day now. Like I go outside and do breath work, do qigong, yoga, a little bit of everything. And when I did it in this like in a cold weather and it rained one of the times, I definitely felt cold. And then I realized I started doing the breath of fire, heating up my body internally. I started seeing my body dry up and I started feeling warm again. And I was like, I had asked one of my family members, like, yeah, like it was just raining outside. Feel my skin. I'm not wet.
Yes, man, a living testimony, man, living, living and breathing, man. So, man, it's you know, it's like the more you breathe, the less you need. You see so many things that the breath can bring in. Like you said, it can cool you down.
Yeah, I was
It
just
can
about
heat
to
you up,
say that. I was just about to say
right?
it could cool you down as well.
And it can heat you up as well. So it's like it can do so many wonders. You know, so many wonders things. It's like modern day magic. We have magic right under our.
See, I was just about to say it. Our attention and will is the magic wand, and with it, we will attract all that we want.
Come on, come on.
But yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
So
quote from one of my guys. Yeah,
okay, beautiful. Blessings. Blessings from that quote, man, the magic wand. So when you were talking, Kajan, earlier about seeing everything as one, seeing no separation, and really internally ingraining that information, it reminded me as well because you talked about how animals are friends, not food.
yeah.
And I told you about how that documentary Earthlings, when I saw that before, you know, because I was raised eating everything. I was
Oh,
raised eating
me too.
you know,
Me too.
almost everything. I was there was nothing that was really off limits for me. And so when I saw that, it was almost like going to the grocery store was not the same anymore. You
It
know,
wasn't.
like I saw on the shelves, I used to see on the shelves, I used to see, you know, ground beef, ground turkey, rotisserie chickens and this and that and beef and like, you know, like steak and over here, all this stuff. Now I saw body parts. You know, now
I
I
started seeing
was
it. Yeah,
where I look, I saw dead bodies.
yeah. And I definitely resonated with that. Like I can't. I like when I see it, I'll be like, oh my gosh, it came from another being, like me.
Right.
And then like now, since I've learned about breatharians, it took it a whole step further that I eventually don't want to eat my plant friends and mushroom friends as well. I don't. I eventually don't want to eat them. I want to just live off, sustain myself off my spirit, soul energy alone. And I know that's a process individualized for everybody else, individualized for each and every individual. Because I've like what I've seen, like yeah, like I think like, oh yeah, the only way you can be breatharian is going from eating meat to gradually going lighter. But no, we always are breatharians in the sense we're just doing it in various degrees in a way. Because once I seen the person that became breatharian from eating McDonald's, like once I really had the health experience, I'm like, I will never eat McDonald's ever again. Even though I won't right now, though I won't. But I'm just like, wow, you could still become breatharian in from eating McDonald's, like eating one McDonald meal a day. And I'm like, it was unfathomable to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, our body can do that.
the the mind really does have a role to play, you know, in what we even believe is possible.
Yeah,
So it's
and
like how
everything
can
is possible.
right? So it's hard to actualize or even realize something that you don't think is possible, you
Yeah,
know. But the body will follow the mind in a way. Where the mind goes, the body will follow.
yeah,
You know, if you think you can't do something, the body will follow.
yeah,
If you think you can do something, the body will follow.
yeah.
So
Like when I was thinking about that, I'm just like, wow, like I was thinking like you have to like eventually get onto lighter type of meals and stuff like that in order to become breatharian. That's just my inherent thought on it. And I was wrong. I was like, it's individualized because somebody ate McDonald's to be breatharian. So I'm like, oh my gosh, they ate literally the. I would think that considered straight poison. I would think that would just be straight poison in a way. And
Wow.
they still become breatharians. And I remember just reading stories about monks eating bark, and I'm like, wow, the breatharians, they don't really have to eat it, but that's probably how they sustain themselves. It's individualized for each individual. So I'm like,
Wow.
oh, that makes sense because everybody's journey is not going to be same. We can have similarities, but it's not going to be same.
Wow. So, Kijan, what do you feel like even inspires you or lights a fire within you when it comes to chronic living or just living, being self-sustained, being sustained with the energy, the chi, you know, just having that relationship with your breath. How do you feel you are inspired by that?
Um, I would say I'm inspired from within because, like, once I experienced like just going on chronic fast and just doing that, I just started feeling like a natural like bliss type of high like feeling, and I'm like, wow, I understand why like once I really did breath work and so I'm like I understand why monks meditate. Like it just clicked in me. I'm like, this feels really good. I should be feeling like this every day,
Okay.
and and that's really what it was. Like it inspired me, like wanting to it just it gave me a self love that I didn't have, and now I don't want to ever not love myself.
Okay. So when you were loving yourself differently or didn't feel the love thereof or like
Yeah,
the lack thereof,
yeah.
did you have like a meditation regimen or like
Oh, oh, you kind of went out for a
it,
second, like it cut out. Yeah, I can hear you now.
yeah. So like Nabiha says down here below, we have Nabiha. The journey is on the inside. That's why it can't be identical.
Yeah.
So when you were going through your journey and growing through your journey, where did meditation come into play where you felt like the foundation of your own meditation, like this is something that I should continue when it came to just sitting there? Because for some people, they say, oh, I can't meditate. Oh, I don't know how to do that. It's not for me. And
All
they,
right.
you know,
Um,
go ahead.
what happened for me? Like I was just learning about breath work, and like I had started off learning from Wim Hof, and if you're familiar with Wim Hof, when I learned that breath work technique, and then he was going into talking about the chemicals that give you that natural bliss high like feeling, and once I experienced it, like I was trying to do breath work, and then I had something internally like don't do it. Like I guess I would say that's ego, or like uncontrolled ego in a way, or like something ego I didn't show love to, or something that I didn't show love to. So it was just like saying like don't keep doing it, don't keep doing it. And then I got to a breath hold, and I had like a clarity of thought or a clarity of mind, and I was like, wow, like I feel really good. And then that voice in my head went away.
Hmm.
It was a voice trying to keep me from hitting that next level. And I would say like it was trying to stop me from going deeper into my breath or doing more breath work. And I did it. I kept going. I kept going past that thought. I mean, them thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and then did my breath holds. And I had a blissful feeling. And then that negative entity or whatever it was, and thoughts just went away.
Okay. So when people have trouble with those thoughts, or like what we might call the monkey mind, or we might call something like that, what advice do you give for people who they've just dealt with it every day and they've just kind of accepted these thoughts are there? I can't deal with my thoughts. I can't control my thoughts. I can't hold my thoughts. I don't know what to do with these. Like, what advice do you give for people?
I would say start the ground, put your feet in the grass, because I see a lot of people that are when they first. I mean, I've seen it before. Like I just say, like yeah, ground your feet, and I'm like I would never put my feet on the dirt. It's dirty. And I'm like, oh man, like that's a disconnection. I would say because that's another part of yourself, the ground. Like we have, like that's like the grass and stuff is like the hairs of the earth. We have hairs internally and externally. So I'm like, okay, that's like a part of us, and like you can like I've seen it for myself. Like when we do ground and stuff like that, I started seeing like negative energy like slowly leave my body through my feet and my soles of my feet. And would say the monkey mind, like you can use movement, because I also do a lot of movement with my hands while I do breath work as well. Like you can do, like, I would say sitting qigong in a way. Like sometimes, I know I just always been an interactive person, so sometimes maybe sitting down and just doing breath work might not be enough. I might have to get some movement in there to calm that mind down and still the mind.
Right.
Because I just know, like, not all the time. Like for me, I just can't sit still. Sometimes I need to move,
Mm-hmm.
and I also incorporate movement into it sometimes. So that's why, like, I use certain type of kundalini exercises where, like, I move my arms and stuff. Like people that say they have ADHD that they can't do breath work, they'll just give me an example. I'm just giving an example. Like I would say, okay, like find a movement that you're comfortable with and just keep doing that movement and continue the breath work. Like I just, like, yeah, I was doing like one of these movements with my kundalini, like moving your arms like this, yeah, like, but like you like locking your arms together and doing that. And like when I first started doing it, like it gave me movement. I'm like, oh, it keeps my mind occupied. Like, oh yeah, I'm keep moving my arms. Let's keep moving my arms. And I started incorporating that with my breath, and started like following the movement with my breath. And I'm like, wow, it's still my mind in another way. Like there's multiple ways to the same avenue. Like that's why yoga is a good one for some people. Some people might find yoga more powerful than breath work. And I understand that because everybody is, yeah, it's the journey's on the inside. It's not identical, but we all get to that same place where we have that blissful like happiness, and we can see that oneness in everything.
Yeah. Yes. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good saying too.
definitely. It makes sense. It makes sense that there's not one prescription or just one thing that you can write off for everybody.
Yeah,
You know, everybody's going to be drawn to something different and learn to love something different. But even if it leads to the same horizon, there's different paths up a mountain,
yeah.
you know? You don't have to go up the same path that somebody else went. You can go up another
Yeah,
and
but
you can.
like somebody else's experiences could, like, oh, I might want to incorporate that, a little bit of that into my routine, or like you can get inspired by other people doing their things too, because like, oh, I resonate with what they're saying, or I resonate with that movement. I might need to incorporate that.
Right, right. Just like a dish, if you're making a recipe and it has different ingredients, you can make something that, it tastes great, but then somebody else makes it and ooh, that hits
That
different, right?
looks, yeah, it just looks different.
That hits, right? You put a little something else in there,
Like they could
right?
just cut it up differently, and that just changes the whole energy of the meal.
Exactly, exactly. So, there was another thing that you put up that I wanted to touch on, and it was about more health, more wealth. And it was you drew a similarity or a comparison with you attracting abundance when you took care of your health.
Oh
So
yeah.
how did you see the same sides of that spectrum when it came to these things? How did you find that they were connected for you?
Um, I remember just like when I first started eating, just eating healthy, right? I would just try to go for just like, um, just like organic products and stuff like that, like just a whole bunch of organic stuff like that. And then I've noticed like, there could be like, um, things that I know that makes me feel good. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna use that example. So yeah, I've just seen it like for myself, like, oh, there's organic grapes, right? And then there could be seeded grapes. Like I seen a organic grape that was seedless, right? So I'm like, oh man, I'm about to spend $20 on these grapes, and these grapes don't make me feel as powerful as the seeded grape does. So the seeded grape could be a little bit more expensive. So I went to that seeded grape and I seen that, oh, I felt more love for myself when I ate the seeded grapes. And then I started feeling like, oh, I'm taking away from myself. I was thinking I was taking away from myself by spending a little bit more money on the seeded grapes, right? And I noticed that when I started having more love for myself, the universal forces started supporting me more. And then people came in my life, or things happened in a way that showed me that, oh, you are abundant. That love you have, somebody else can see and get inspired by that love, and that makes you abundant in a way, and the universe can support you more. And I noticed that when I started eating better, I started wanting to do better decisions financially in a way. Like I don't try to eat out as much no more, because why? Not everybody is going to put that same loving energy into your food as you could speak life into your food when you're making it at home, or just eating fruit or something. You could speak life into it, you know? And I started noticing when I started, even when the price would, certain things would be a little bit more expensive, like when I started using herbs and stuff like that, especially like Shilajit. And I'm like, wow, like it's expensive, but like this stuff makes me feel so good. And I start attracting more situations, more experiences that show me that I'm abundant and actually bring me abundance.
Okay. Okay. So it's almost like when you know better, you flow better.
Yeah,
You you were able to see the comparison or the correlation or the connection between what you put in and what you got out.
yeah,
You know, what you put in and what you got back, the love that you gave and the love you attract.
yeah.
I love that.
And like, yeah, like when I noticed that, like I started not really like caring about finances too much because I know I'm supported.
Right.
So when I really know something's going to be good for me in the long run, and I might not think don't have enough right now in this moment or something, I still try to go do it. And when I do it, I start seeing a whole nother avenue of abundance come to me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I didn't even think I could get abundance that way. Like just me, I'm saying it right now. I remember I just got a check recently, and I was like, oh, I gotta pay these bills, right? And I was thinking about, oh yeah, should I give a little extra for these bills so I don't have to worry about it longer, or should I? And I was like, let me just give a little extra right now. I have it, so let me give a little extra. And I did it. I started seeing abundance. I just I was gifted some of these shirts that were unworn by one of my family members, and like shirts that resonated with me. Like there's a shirt about yin and yang, shirt that said we're all human, and I'm like, oh, that just showed me I'm abundant. I opened myself up, and then my granddad called my mom and told her that my uncle had some unworn shirts that he just had the tag on. He didn't wear them, and we were gonna give them away. And I feel like Kjon can use them.
Yeah.
And I just seen the abundance. I'm like, wow, the abundance just showed me like, wow, the love makes you abundant, because
Well,
that's something that's forever expansive, that you can always give love to somebody else or in yourself.
always. Always. Wow. So you were able to really feel that oneness.
Yeah,
You felt abundance. You came back. So you let go and you let in. It was almost like you created the space for more flow.
yeah, I created the more space.
Okay.
And I've seen that, like once you can let go of certain things, like when you have blockages in your body, actually, when you let go of them blockages, you could start seeing like, oh, I might not want to eat that certain food no more because that might have caused the blockage. Or when you did it, like for I'm just giving an example, like once I started doing like a lot of internal alchemy, like rubbing out kinks and nicks in my stomach, because like I know from just me eating meat prior, I didn't realize like me changing up my lifestyle didn't clean my temple. That just gave me like a noticeable difference in the stuff, in the energy I have internally. I can notice like, oh, I feel a little bit heavier, a little bit lighter. But I really still had to go inside and start rubbing out these blockages internally, rubbing out these hard mucuses. And once I realized that, it made me like even examine things more thoroughly, more like now when I do eat something, how do I feel after I just consumed it? Do I feel heavier? Do I feel lighter? Do I feel blocked up? Or like, yeah, like that's like gave me a little bit more perspective on my journey. Like even with salt is a big one that you feel me. I'm letting go now. Like I seen like when I eat too like a lot of like it could be salted pistachios. My body I wake up, my body's a little bit more stiff than it usually is, or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I have to do a little bit more alchemy today because my body's a little bit more stiff. And I just seen like certain things I'm more aware of now, just from me starting to go on my temple and scrub out mucus and blockages. So now, yeah, it cultivated some more self love.
Yes. Yes. Man, thank you for that share. Thank you for that share, man. And just letting more people become more aware of their own self-care.
Yeah,
We need this. This is the message we need because I can tell you from my own experience as well. Like I didn't know how many things were going on in my body. I don't know how close I was. You know what I mean? It was
yeah. I
almost
was about to ask you a question too.
go ahead.
Like, yeah, what got you into like the chronic lifestyle and chronic living
Yeah.
and such?
Yeah, we can definitely do a part two. We'll do a round two next time, and we can come back with it. You know, we can come back because I'd love to speak about it as well. But thank you, brother. Like, thank you just for speaking on your own journey because I see so many similarities. I see a lot of similarities with us in the ways that, like, the ways we started, the ways we got inspired, the ways we rewired, and the ways that we wanted to continue. You know, building more light within you.
Mm.
It's amazing.
Bro, your rhymes be dope every time. I'm telling you, you got to start putting these as quotes, man.
Oh, blessings. Well, man, you know, before we go, brother Kajan, could you tell people if you have any services, any offerings, anything that you would like, or for people to come to you, what would you like to let people know where they can find you? You know?
You can find me on at DivineSki 33 on all platforms. And actually, I have a link tree, and I sell herbal medicines and such, and I also infuse those with love as well. And those definitely help me bring me to definitely a good space in my life in cultivating more self love and breath work. That's one of my big things that I love teaching about and I love doing. So I never I'm you can never I'm never shy to answer questions in DMs or never feel like you're bothering me when you have a question about breath work and stuff because you might give me a new perspective on something that I might face in the future, you know? So yeah, so I definitely support questions and stuff about breath work, and I definitely will help you learn how to do breath work if that's something you're aspiring to do.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Thanks for being available, man. You know, thanks for, you know, just putting this information out here, raising the vibe, you know, building the tribe. Thank you. We'll keep the breath alive till next time, man. Till the next episode, and just so much love, brother. Keep doing what you do.
You as well, fam. Stay positive. Have a breathful day.
Yes, sir.
You better peace out.